AskReddit by Flint the Dad. What's an immediate red flag that you are in a dangerous neighborhood? The gas station cashier is behind 1" bulletproof glass. Try the 1" bulletproof glass in a hotel lobby. Shout out to the Howard Johnson next to JFK Airport. Cops in Atlanta on foot patrol telling us that they don't let anybody hang out on the stoop of a building after midnight even if you were just smoking a cigarette. Few minutes later some guy walked up and told us we needed to move along and then lifted his shirt to show the pistol in his waistband. We went inside. Got lost in Atlanta after a Fish show in '99 or so. We knew we were in the bad part of town. It just had that bad vibe. Like we were being watched. Saw a cop and flashed my lights at him. He got out, took one look at us in our tie-dyes and sandals in our new white Corolla and chuckled, "You lost." He gave us directions to get on the interstate. He then told us not to stop even for stop signs or lights and to not get off the interstate until after a certain exit. The middle of the day and all dudes hanging out in the streets. No women walking around. As a woman, this is one of the first things I notice. When it's like a section of town is exclusively populated by men, that's when I GTFO there. A grown man riding a child's bike down the middle of the road. Debo. Chris Rock said it best: if you enter a neighborhood at noon and you see men walking around in sweatpants, lifting weights in the front yard, and using a child's bike as their mode of transportation, you are in danger. Also Chris Rock, I don't give a fuck where you are in America, if you are on Martin Luther King Boulevard there's some violence going down. Bars on all the windows. Really high windows too. Like high up on the wall. Deleted. Metro PCS and cricket are the biggest red flags. If I see no women or girls on the streets after dusk who aren't accompanied by a grown man. Also if the men are druggy fierce looking. A brand new Dodge Charger Hellcat with body damage parked in the driveway next to a 1989 Honda Accord on jack stands. Are oddly specific. As someone who flies low level over just about all parts of Chicago, the main thing from an aerial point of view is the number of empty lots between houses. PPL let the roof go, building eventually becomes more and damp, more decrepit, then either gets torn down or collapses slowly over a long time. It is a prejudgment of course, but a check cashing place, usually with a liquor store right next to it. And a Cricket Wireless next to the title porn place. Very neck specific, but if the delis only operate through one of those spinning windows at night and don't let people inside. San Francisco has fast food restaurants like that, like a counter service only empanada joint. Bars on windows and excessive fencing around front yards would be a no for me. Wrought iron fencing is pretty popular even in nice urban neighborhoods. Nowhere to buy groceries. Just liquor stores. That's when you just shop at the dollar store. There's enough food there to make do. Candles and liquor bottles marking memorials on the sidewalk. There's a baby standing on the corner. Lookouts. Young kids on corners or sitting on mailboxes who watch you as you enter the neighborhood and whistle to warn others that a stranger, or worse, is approaching. Took me a while to figure it out, but now it's one of the first things I notice. Also a bunch of guys hanging around an oil barrel fire in the middle of the street. That means you've gone too far. I've played enough 90s beat 'em ups to know that the second one is a bad sign. Though the fact that the mayor was a former pro wrestler should have clued me in that something sketchy was going on there. Look at the churches. As a general rule of thumb, the longer the church names are, the worse the neighborhood. Bonus points if the churches are tiny and only take up a storefront. Note the inverse is not necessarily true though. Street. Vincent's Roman Catholic Church is not necessarily indicative of a good neighborhood, but St. Vincent the Holy Beloved and his Sacred Apostles Church of the Lord Jesus Christ is a sign that you're deep in the hood. I've never seen this with a Catholic church, but the evangelical ones always have wild names like the Healing Oil from His Blessed Word or Breakthrough Fire Ministries International. Poor roofing on houses. Roofs are expensive, and one thing I've noticed in rough, poorer neighborhoods is roofs tend to have a waviness to them. Or the good old blue tarp roof patch. When some random guy that looks a bit rough on the edges tells you that you don't look like you belong here and to cut over a couple of blocks to be safe. When one of the locals is saying, "Dude, get the hell out," then you might want to listen. No stores, mini marts. I'm serious. If these businesses cannot operate, that hood is shady as fucking hell. The Walmart in my town had to pack up and leave. Only adult male pedestrians. Working payphones. Nice cars in front of shitty houses. Literally like half the cars in my neighborhood are super nice, but every single house apartment is a roach infested dump. The convenience store sells cheap socks right by the spray paint. They sell those paper flowers in glass tubes. They have those glass collectibles that are obviously crack pipes. The rose is often just a small flat piece of fabric stamped out in the vague shape of a flower. The producers make no effort to disguise its real purpose. Waffle House is closed. If even the Waffle House is closed, that means you in the 7th circle of hell, not the hood.